Are we rolling? Yes, we are. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. In this video, a bit of a different one, I thought I would share with you my running story or running journey, if you like, from the beginning to right now. So I actually made some notes on my phone. Hopefully I don't waffle on too much. So let's get started with the beginning, my childhood and teenage years. Well, that's going to be a quick one because I was not running unless I had to in PE classes. This is really my only memories of me having to run, and I just know that I did not enjoy it. It's in my early 20s that I would say I first dipped my toes into running, but not very seriously. But before I carry on, I would love to know about you guys, your running journey. How did you start? Have you always been a runner? Did you start during the pandemic? What's your backstory with running? I always find it really interesting to find out about people's own running stories. I would love for you to share a little bit about your experience in the comments. Back to my story. So in my early 20s, I think I was about 23, I was lucky enough to move to the US and I lived in Miami for a year. Incredible experience. And I moved in January, and between January and end of March, all I did in terms of physical activity was going on a morning run along the beach almost every morning. I didn't have a watch, I didn't have fancy running gear, I don't even know what shoes I was wearing, but surely not proper running shoes. I know that I was doing between 20 and 40 minutes of running in the morning, no idea of my pace, no idea of anything like that. And then it started to become really warm, even early in the morning, so it was just unbearable, the heat. I couldn't run outside. I ended up joining a gym and I kind of forgot about running and I was just doing weights. Then in August or September, for my last few months, I joined Orange Theory Fitness, which is like a Barry's bootcamp. So half the class on the treadmill and half the class doing weights. So this is where I started running again. But in those classes, it's not really easy running. It's not really to build up your aerobic base. It's really just sprints on the treadmill to burn as many calories as possible. So I wouldn't say it was proper running training. I then moved back to France. I joined the gym. I was mainly doing weights. Not very interested in running. I would maybe go on the treadmill for an easy 20-minute run, maybe once or twice a week. But I also remember ending up being signed up to a race with the company I was working for at the time, because we had free spots and I thought, you know what, why not? So the race is actually quite famous in Paris. It's called La Parisienne. It's women only. The distance is a bit weird. I think it's about 6 point something K. I tried to find in my Facebook archives the exact distance, the time I did, photos. I put things on the screen, whatever I find. A few weeks before this race, I trained a little bit for it. I would go more on the treadmill and I did a few runs outside, but honestly, nothing major. I was really stressed the morning of the race, but I remember having a pretty good experience and telling myself, oh, I should pick up running again and I should do more races, but unfortunately I actually didn't really end up doing that. And now we're going to jump from 2016 to 2020 because not much happened in the running department. Just for context, I moved to the UK early 2017. And yeah, I was mainly doing resistance training, the occasional jog on the beach when I was on holiday, run on the treadmill sometimes, and occasional sprints on the treadmill when I was going to fitness classes. That was about it. So yeah, let's skip to 2020. We all know what happened in 2020. In March, we got the first lockdown and the gyms closed, and at this point I was very much living for the gym. I was mainly doing resistance training, so it was a bit of a shock when we couldn't go to the gym anymore. Didn't know what to do with myself. So like many people, I picked up running because it was the only thing pretty much that you could do if you wanted to go outside. Ben actually gave me his very old Garmin watch so I could track my runs, and I started to do a 5K pretty much every day. The problem is I had no knowledge of how you're meant to train, how you're meant to structure your running throughout the week. I would just go all out and I would try to beat my 5k time literally every single time, which is just not the way to train. Just very lucky that I actually did not get injured. After a few months of this 5k nonsense, I started to do slightly longer runs. When I say slightly longer, I mean like 7k runs, okay? I did a few of these, and then one day I woke up and I decided that I was going to try to do a 10k run on that morning. And I told myself that I would not stop. I would try to do my best 10k without stopping and with no previous 10k training. I put the exact time on the screen because I have a photo somewhere. I did a 48 minutes something, which to be fair wasn't too bad considering that I was still pretty new to running with no proper training structure. I thought that was okay. I ended up doing another one not so long after and I decreased my time to 46 minutes something. These first two 10k runs, I really wanted to do them under 50 minutes. That was kind of like my target. So I was pretty pleased with that. On the COVID side, things calmed down for the summer. We were able to go on holiday, gyms reopened, so unfortunately I dropped the ball on the running side and I very much went back to the gym. And then fall rolls around and we're in lockdown again and gyms close again. So what do? I start running again. Still no proper training. I was still trying too hard at every single run. I started doing these Garmin challenges where in a month you've got to run 80k or something. So that was my minimal target, 80k per month of lockdown, and I was trying to push to the 100k mark. It's in May 2021, so less than a year ago actually, that I really decided that I wanted to take running more seriously and to commit to becoming a better runner. I was learning the easy runs and the interval training and structuring my weekends, all of that. So I actually made some progress fairly quickly just by following a plan. I actually bought a plan from Ben Parks. The first one I bought was this 10k and it was to achieve a 10k between 40 and 50 minutes because I did set myself a goal to run a 10k in 45 minutes in that year. So I had about 6 months left to achieve that, and I signed up to my first 10k race. So originally my first 10k race was going to be the Tatton 10k in September because at this point we lived up north in Cheshire. Then I heard about a race that was happening 2 weeks prior and I just randomly decided to sign up for it. It was the elderly age 10k. I did this one, I did in 45:50, so I was getting closer, but I still had a good 50 seconds to shave off. And I had a few weeks more of training before the Tatton 10k. So I still followed the plan. I would say I followed about 80% strictly sticking to the plan, and then 20% was a bit more intuitive, a bit more adapted to what I liked. I wouldn't say I made it easier for myself, but I kind of like moved away from the strict plan. And yeah, Tatton 10k rolls around and I finished in 44 minutes 42. Absolutely over the moon. This was in September last year, so honestly, not so long ago. This was one of my proudest moments, to be honest. And then just after finishing that 10k, the same weekend, I decided, you know what? I'm going to sign up to a half marathon now. So I signed up for a half marathon in November and I bought another plan from Ben Parks, this time the half marathon. It's one where I could train to aim to achieve it in 1 hour 45 minutes, which was the target I set myself for the half marathon. So I had, I think, about 8 weeks to train. The plan was a little bit longer, so I had to start the plan, a few weeks after the beginning, but I managed it and I did my first half marathon race in November and I did it in 1:41 something. Again, absolutely over the moon. I could not believe it. I forgot to mention that actually last year, I think it was during the summer, I started to document my running journey on YouTube. So you will find the race vlogs, you will find my taper vlogs, you will find bits in my vlogs where I talk about my training and everything. But yeah, so back to the first half marathon goes really, really well, and it was great news because I had already signed up to a second half marathon just a few weeks later in December in Malaga. I was so excited for this one and I trained for it and I was just hoping to do a little bit better than Tatton Park. I did not expect to finish under 1 hour 40. I did it in 1 hour 39 minutes 14 seconds, which was just unreal. It was a dream for me to do a sub 140, and yeah, I still don't know how I pulled this off. And this brings us to now, a few months into 2022, still on that training journey, still enjoying the process of training to become a better runner, learning, still making a few mistakes in my training probably, but it's part of the process. And I'm loving this little YouTube running community that I found. I am really inspired by everyone's videos, everyone's training, experiences. It's always nice to read your comments on my videos, and yeah, I'm just really thankful for this as well. Thank you so much for watching my videos. And yeah, as I said earlier in this video, I would love to hear more about your running journey. How did you start? What's your favorite type of running, of distances? What's your proudest achievement in your running journey? I think that's it in terms of my journey. I hope I didn't waffle on too much. I hope it was somewhat interesting. Thank you so much if you made it to the end, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!